Meanwhile, Erica's timing is eerie for Florida's neighbors to the west. Tomorrow marks the 10-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina's landfall on the Gulf Coast. At least 1,245 people died in that storm. Thousands more had to be airlifted from their homes. There was also massive flooding after multiple levees breached, and that flushed water into so many communities. Katrina may have hit 1,200 miles away from Colorado, but a lot of people here felt the storm's aftermath. From people who went back to destroyed childhood homes, it was a scene they never thought they would survive, but somehow they had to find a way to move forward.
I get goosebumps.
And for good reason. Trudy Dawson's parents used to live in a suburb of New Orleans, one of the worst hit areas when Katrina hit.
They asked me to take them back so they could see what was left.
They got to the house 2 weeks after the storm, and she found her childhood home condemned.
And as we turned the corner, I looked in the rearview mirror and I could see my parents' eyes, and I could see the tears in their eyes. This is the home I had grown up in.
Sheer devastation, debris was scattered everywhere.
My family's house was turned upside down.
Her parents never moved back. They live in Georgia now, and everyone tried to move on.
When we grew up in New Orleans, everyone dealt with a hurricane in the sense that it was sort of an exciting thing. You got to take out the hurricane lamps and you packed your bags, and sometimes you even went to a hotel for the night. No one ever anticipated that big one happening. And sure enough, Hurricane Katrina was the big one.
Turns out that wouldn't be her only brush with disaster. Just 8 years after she lost her childhood home to Hurricane Katrina, she lost her adult home to the Black Forest fire.
Similarly, living in Black Forest for 30-something years, we were always told that someday there's going to be a big fire. But just as I grew up in New Orleans, always knowing that but never really fearing it, the Black Forest fire 2 years ago really took us by surprise, and it was a total devastation.
In both cases, the clinical psychotherapist was forced to practice what she preached.
You become somewhat, not immune, but resilient in terms of just learning to bounce back and find what's good in all of that.
Finding the good in what was devastation.
And I'm proud of the city, and I'm proud of how it's rebuilt itself in the past 10 years.
And hope in her hometown's future.
And Dawson still goes back to New Orleans 2 to 3 times a year. Her extended family and friends still live there and all along the Gulf Coast.